and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Something Else podcast. Of course, as you know, my name is Gabriella, and this is my guest.
My name is Jada.
Today, we're getting into a little bit of a girl talk. We're going to be talking about outgrowing friendships and city girl culture, all of that. But before we get into that, I'm going to do the affirmation of the week. Or do you want to do it?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to do these like every episode.
Fun.
Just pick one and read it.
I trust my instinct, the inner voice that comes from within. My heart is my guide and I follow its direction. I love that.
Right?
I love that.
That's like a good one.
That's a great one. The
Like,
inner voice. Let's talk about it.
Because whenever you don't listen to that inner voice, you're going to fall into a ditch.
I promise you.
And you're going to the bottom of the ditch.
And learning to trust your instinct is important. Like having that confidence. I feel like that's what instinct is about too. Just confidence. Like knowing I know what's best for me already, regardless of what anybody else has to say about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's important.
I really feel that. And then that like goes into time. We were talking about this earlier. We're talking about like friendships and stuff like that. Even amongst like women, we all know sisterhood. We love it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that is not talked about is like outgrowing friendships.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
And knowing when you've outgrown a friendship is important too. Like just accepting it.
no, that's true.
Because usually you already know. It's not like you have no idea. Like, you know, this person is probably not for me. The
Mhm.
love I have for you is intense. You know, we have this connection. We have all these memories and this history.
Yeah.
But I know that right now on this journey I'm on, you know, we don't fit. And sometimes we don't know how to love from a distance.
No, that's so true.
We feel like I have to love you. If I love you, I'm going to keep you
Yeah.
in my...
That doesn't always
You
mean
know, it doesn't always mean that.
It doesn't always mean that. Like loving from a distance sometimes mean like you cannot be in the person's life.
You can't.
Like you just have to clap from afar. You're doing great.
I
But
love you.
that's
But
it.
stay over there.
That's it.
Yeah.
And like sometimes when you're friends with people for such a long time, like some of us have like friends who've been with friends since like what? Kindergarten?
10, 15 years.
Like those are like the biggest ones. And I feel like with those kind of friendships, they don't die easily, of course,
No.
because either you guys have family together,
Yeah.
or you guys have just had that bond that it's just like, where can we go without each
Like,
other?
how are we supposed to act like that never happened?
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like you don't have to act like it never happened, because you can still be cordial. Like, we're all adults now.
Yeah.
You know, we're able to be cordial. We can have conversations. We can even pop out every now and then. But you have to know, like, where to place people
No, it's true.
in your life. And you have to know what to share with people. And sometimes it makes me feel like, you know, maybe you're not a friend. You're just like you were a part of my journey. You know, because I don't know, when I speak of friendship, I think of somebody that is just like, I can share everything with you. I don't have to worry about you doing anything crazy, or like, you know, I don't expect any harm towards me from you.
Yeah.
But when it gets to the point where you're like, oh, I gotta watch what I say, then we're associates.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be long time associates, right?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that sometimes, of course, the car comes in crazy, but sorry. But I think that sometimes we like overplay our part. We overplay our part, and we allow people to underplay their part.
Yeah.
Like, you know what's going on.
Right.
You know what's going on, and we're not gonna act like you don't know. But because we kind of like love the person, or we care about the person, we like turn a blind eye to it.
And it's like, well, that's just how they are. That's just how he is. That's just how she is. Like, those are all excuses that we use to kind of enable them to get to that point too. But honestly, it's more of a personal thing. It's more of a, I don't want the confrontation, because what if I risk losing that person?
Yeah.
So then that's where you battle that part. What if I gotta lose you just because I'm telling you a problem that we both know is obviously a problem. Like, I have to risk losing you. I have to hold in what's hurting me to keep you around me. Like, that doesn't make sense. It has to end.
Sometimes you have to lose people.
It has to end.
Sometimes you have to lose people because it's like, at what point do you get to the point where you're like, okay, this friendship is not healthy?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the vibe. Like, sometimes it can be, and I feel like when friendships are long overdue to end, it's like that falling out, it would have been a bigger falling out if it was just like, hey, I think we should go our separate ways.
I think it would have been worse. But another thing that Gabby said earlier, which like stuck with me, is people don't want to hear the truth from you. Regardless, had they heard it from a million other people, when you have that long time friendship or connection or whatever, they don't want you to tell them what they already know. It just makes it hurt even more almost. So now our falling out is bigger when all we could have did is come to that understanding, because you know when you're wrong. You know when you're not for somebody. You know when you're not being healthy in a relationship. Everybody knows when they're being toxic, whether it's a friendship or a relationship. So like, to victimize yourself knowing like you haven't been the best you could be, that's usually what keeps people attached to that relationship, you know?
Yeah.
Because now I feel like I'm wronging you by telling you what we obviously know is a problem.
And a lot of time people know. People know.
They
like
know.
people know. Like some of your most toxic friends, I feel like those be the people that you knew for a long time. It's like, you should know me better than to do something like this. And the people that you're just meeting are people that uplifts you, pour into you, you know,
motivate you, like, and also just show you that like this is what you deserved all along. So and I've had clients that come in and pour into me in an hour session.
Yeah. Like,
how did you make me feel so, like everything so is energized. Like you're so energized, like you really poured into my energy. I could have a terrible day, walk in, and of course you shut that off. You know, when you come into other people, I never try to put on any of my issues or problems with them, but for you to not even know that I was already holding that back and to be able to uplift me just by your spirit, your energy, your positivity, it's like, this is what I need around me all the time, you know? And it's sad to say it, but I do like to be around people who are either on the same like mindset as me, but also better. You know, I want to be around people who do have bigger goals, bigger dreams, because I'm like, wow, you know, it's inspiring, but also it motivates me to just like want to do better. So I think that's another thing with toxic friendships and relationships. Like, you know, we started out when we were young, but we're not young anymore. We have bigger responsibilities, and we should have bigger goals and bigger dreams. If we're not doing it together, then clearly I haven't been enough motivation to you. You haven't been enough motivation to me. We're not growing together. Something has to change.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that sometimes when you have like long-standing friendships, of course, stuff like that, like some people are just comfortable. Yeah. And they're not coming with you to where you're going in life. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
The top ain't for everybody.
Let it go.
That's it. Like, and it's hard to let it go and kind of like move on. Like, oh, you've been my homegirl since this. She gonna leave you for dead.
Yeah.
That's just what.
Now you're fake and you're flawed. Don't worry about it. You're not fake. You're not flawed. Sometimes it's okay to be selfish for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be selfish all around, but pouring into others when you need to be poured into will leave you dead. You're done.
Depleted.
You're done.
We're gonna have to defibrillate you because no pulse. Like when you continuously are giving, but not giving to yourself. No.
Yeah.
No.
And we've all been there, so it's fine.
Yeah, but do better.
Do better.
Like it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Like
speaking of do better, we need to do better with the culture. Let's get into the culture, Gabs.
We need to. Because where it's going,
it's
a rocky slope. We're going down.
Priorities are all over the place. I just feel like I've been there. Sometimes I find myself slipping into that mindset of like, I want this, I want that, but priorities. Like, let's just keep pulling it back to priorities, because I don't understand why we have Chanel bags and Rollies, credit score 250, and no house, no property, no assets. I hate it for us.
What's happening?
I hate it for us.
I think also society makes it like, okay, we see it in the media.
It's so hard.
It's so glamorized to have all these things but not have it together.
Yeah.
Like, you have all these things, all these accolades, but
Right.
life just falling apart. It really, it's not. It's not. Like, you cannot cover low self-esteem with the Chanel bag. It's not gonna work.
But then again, you can on Instagram.
You can do anything on Instagram. You can be anybody you want to be.
You can be anybody, but it's like, it's sad because I'm not even gonna act like I don't value those things sometimes, or like it doesn't slip into my mindset, because it does. And sometimes it's all I'm worried about, like, oh, I want this, I want that. But I just have to remember, like, okay, what are you gonna do with that? You know, how is that gonna make you more money? How is that gonna just build into what I'm already trying to build within myself? I kind of want to think.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like it makes it harder, because it's like you want it, and like that becomes your goal sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Like, almost it's just like, oh yeah, I'm about to get this snap because I want to pay for that, but like, can you pay for it 3 times? Can you pay for it
But
3
that's
times?
the reason also why you gotta refocus. You gotta know. Like, I'm all for buying nice things and stuff.
We love
like
nice
that.
things.
But I mean, so
We love nice things.
at this point in this day and age, it's almost as if it's a sacrifice of yourself to get these nice things.
Yeah.
Like, you have to sacrifice so much to look good and do this and
You do, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's more of like what you were talking about with social media, and it puts a pressure on you, because you feel like, dang, like, you know, she got this and that, and her scammer buying her this and that, like, what am I doing? It makes you
listen.
you sit back and say, what am I doing?
I'm not.
Or what am I not doing?
We love the city girls. If you guys want
We
to come on the
love-
podcast, you know where to find me. But everybody wants to be a city girl, and they all boot up. They in their relationships. Like,
They do.
reality versus storytelling. Like, I totally get it. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
want him to do this. I want him to do that. I want this for me. But come on, reality versus storytelling. Because when that's all said and done, you get in the Chanel bag, you getting flued out, but you can't post no pictures. You can't post no pictures. You cannot post no pictures.
It never happened.
You're not going out in public, because if his wife finds you, that's it.
Done.
So
But
it's.
do the girls care? I feel like the girls don't care.
Of course they don't care.
Listen, the girls don't care. I don't gotta be on Instagram with him. That is literally like the mindset. Like, okay, yeah, he not posting me, that's fine. I'm not posting him either.
Oh,
You know?
y'all strong.
Not speaking from personal
It's
experience.
Hercules.
Just
Because no.
right. I like to be the one and the only. I love to be the one and the only.
Like, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is, but I feel like the problem that like we should get to is just basically like city girl culture, whatever. It's not everything. It's not the end result. Like, I want us to get back to focusing on building businesses and generational wealth, and you know, like being wealthy and not rich. Because that's what it gives. It gives rich. Okay, you're rich, but are you wealthy? You know, is this money gonna keep coming 5 years from now? Is like, are you gonna grow from that? You get what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like our culture, i.e. black culture, black culture is just depleted sometimes by the values overall.
Yeah, so even with black culture, it's like, now I feel like we've advanced.
For sure.
We have, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
Like,
I do. I agree.
we have some improvements to make. Even us, like, as like black women, we've come so far, like made a lot of accomplishments, a lot of, accolades.
Yeah, let's talk about the positivity.
Of
I love
course.
that. I love that. Bring in the positivity.
Of course. We've done a lot, but we still got some things to comb out. So got some things to straighten out, hot comb out.
For real.
There's still some things.
I agree. And like, just talking about like overcoming things and knowing worth, just women as a whole, knowing your worth and knowing what you expect out of people. I do feel like city girl culture has put a positive light on that, because it's like, girl, if you're not being poured into, forget the designer and whatever, but like, if he's not doing for you, why are you there type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I could vouch for that. I live
that.
for that. I live for that.
I could understand that. And
I do feel like we all just want to be, or at least thought we wanted to be housewives almost. Like, you pay the bills, you take care of everything, buy me whatever I want. But do we even want to be housewives for real?
I can't be a housewife. To all the housewives out there, we love you. Remember to listen to the podcast. But like, that's not for everybody. Me personally,
It's not for me.
I can't stay home. Like, I would probably be around the house trying to find something to do.
Yeah.
It's gonna come home and be like, oh, so what were you doing all day? Oh yeah, I was just making sure that we're doing everything that we can online to do this and do. I would be doing weird stuff around the house. Like,
You're hungry? Me too.
like, not me
I
too.
can't. I'm starving. I was waiting for you to get here.
So you can cook.
Yeah.
The kids need to be fed.
I'm not the housewife. I'm definitely the pour into me, because I'm an entrepreneur. I want to bring in the bacon too. I want to be successful too. I've always been obsessed with having my own. But if we can grow together, if you can make me better, then that's what I want. I want more of a partnership. I just don't want to pay most of the bills.
I
can deal with that.
Honestly, I'm always gonna say this: different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Because some people are okay with they're putting in their half, and some people ain't okay with paying nothing. Like, they're like, "What's a bill?" Like, I do all this stuff, and that's all that I'm gonna do. So different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
But I would say doing what is comfortable for you, because some people, if you plan to be a housewife, you're gonna be a housewife in a shelter. You're not gonna be a housewife at home. Like, it's just not gonna work like that.
It's not possible.
I feel like sometimes culture will be like, oh, your man is supposed to be doing all of this and doing all of that. I'm like, so that's not y'all.
And I have to say, and I live for women, and I wouldn't typically call myself a feminist, because I do try to look from both sides.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes men, and I've heard conversations, and it's just like, well, this is what you expect from me, but what about what I expect from you? I feel like they do have expectations, but they're not allowed to really speak on them as much, because it's like, I'm the prize here. I still feel like what I say to this day, I'm the prize. Like, remember, I'm the prize, but also, like, your partner should also feel like the prize.
Yeah, that's true.
So don't have these huge expectations or want these $1,000 gifts and whatever if you're not ready to throw that same bag right back at him.
No, it's true.
That's how I feel.
The
honestly.
expectations are, I would say they're pretty outlandish. Like, if your man is on a Tory Burch budget, don't look for a Birkin.
Please.
Don't do it. You're
Give
going to
him a
be
break.
disappointed. You're
Give
going to be disappointed and upset. And why can't I get... No, that's not how that works.
No.
Like...
Now, I feel it's different. I just feel like the expectations should be mutual.
That's true, too.
So if you want something from him, fine. If you ask for something, fine. But when that table turns, be ready.
Pull out the wallet. Pull it out.
Be ready. Sometimes you treat. Sometimes you look out. Or like spontaneous stuff. Men love spontaneous stuff just as much as women. They may not speak on it. And I feel like most men, their love language is just to like show them,
Yeah.
versus them having to tell you, which we're more open, some of us, I will say, and we'll tell you exactly what we want, exactly how to do it, where you can get it from. Like,
I'll send you the link.
I'll send you the link. You can buy it now. Whereas they just want to at least feel like you thought about them, you know? So I feel like we need to be more open-minded in that area.
That's so true. Like, I really feel like, now that you kind of say that, I've never, like, women tend to be like, okay, I want this, I want that. But now I've never really thought of a time where it's like, okay, yeah, you have to kind of like fish around. You could have to listen to what he's saying. Oh, if he mentioned these shoes or he mentioned this, but they're not blatantly going to be like, well, some of them, because a lot of them do have the audacity with a capital A, but
like, how you asking for something?
Like a capital A, like, I want this Rolex.
Oh, that's nice. Did you send it to your mom?
Yeah, please send it to her instead. But a lot of them don't ask for things.
Yeah, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, y'all are real ones, and it's kind of sad because it's like, dang, they be walking around all, you know, oh, I'm good. Be so sad you didn't even get them nothing. Say something. Don't just walk around all tough, and then have an attitude. I'm good, bro. Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. And they have to be.
Yeah, it's sad.
Due to society.
Yeah.
Back to y'all, city girls. We're not the problem, but we're not the solution.
Not at all. At all.
Seriously.
Problem, not the solution. Part of the problem. Originator of the issues.
Originators.
But, you know, I think it's all about, like, also just checking yourself sometimes. Like, you got, like, I feel us as, like, women, like, it's important to kind of check and be like, okay, let me see. Let me make sure.
That self-reflection.
Yeah. Because I feel like sometimes women can't really see themselves.
All the time.
At all.
Great. We can look at someone from across the room and say exactly what their problem is. That's me. I know exactly what is wrong with you. I know what you need to work on. I know your weak spots. I know your strong points too. Nothing is wrong with me. That is literally our thoughts sometimes. Like, I feel like, and I've seen this on like Instagram or something, just a quote, and it was just like, you know, whenever you have a problem or altercation with somebody, instead of thinking about how they wronged you, think about how you could have been better in that situation or something similar to that, you know? I find myself trying to do that more. Like, yeah, I'm so angry, but what could I have done differently to make this outcome different?
I could see that. Like, I'm the kind of friend, you'd be like, girl, you ain't had to say that to him. You didn't have to say that to him.
Swear.
Or why did you say that like that? Because, like, in my past, oh, I tell you now. I try to, like, get to the point where I'm just like, okay, let me not say that, because once you say it out your mouth, once you throw the axe, like, you don't know what it's gonna hit. So now I try to be like, okay, let me make sure I'm doing my part.
Right.
To kind of, I almost ate the mic for a second. Let me do my part to kind of like watch myself and, you know.
Yeah. And there is a point where you need to like filter yourself, because everything doesn't have to be said. And sometimes out of anger, we just respond without, you know, processing all of our feelings. And I think that's important too. And earlier, I keep going back to earlier, but Gabby said something basically about like talking, and was just like, don't answer right away. Like, I'll get back to you on that and stuff like that. Like, basically, you have to be able to have that self-control, or even that consciousness in your mind to tell you, like, you know, you're angry right now, you're not able to process these emotions that you're feeling. Tell them to give you some time. Walk away first. Like, take a breather and revisit that conversation. That's with friendships and relationships, I feel.
That's literally with everything, because when you answer too quick, you didn't really think about what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
It just came out of your mouth, and then later you're like, oh wait, I said that? Sometimes people don't even remember what they say.
They don't.
It just flies out like you vomit. And
even if you didn't mean it, it's still already cut.
Yeah.
You know, you already
said it.
So whether they forgive you or not, I just feel like our words are permanent.
Yeah.
You know, it's no taking them back. So yeah, they forgave you, but it's definitely in the back of their mind.
Yeah.
Because I don't forget nothing.
It's still there.
I'm not forgetting nothing.
It's still
Remember 2 weeks ago?
Not 2 weeks ago.
She said so.
It was at 1 p.m. that you said that, and
Yeah.
I remember. And it's like,
Yeah, that's how you really felt. And then we get to that.
when people like get into altercations or they start really saying some things, it's like, dang.
I promise you.
It's like, dang.
Cause how long you was holding that in?
Some people, especially, I feel like this is like a thing. This could be with both sexes, but the holding it in, oh my god. That's why if you're gonna express yourself like try to.
And that's what makes you
moment.
explode. That's when you start to explode. When you hold it in, and then it finally comes out, and it's like you just can't do it anymore. You're completely over and done with this person because they're always doing whatever to you, but they didn't even know.
They don't know. A lot of people don't know when they do stuff. When you bring it up later on, they're like, "Oh well, why didn't you say something then?" Or why didn't you? Yeah, you should have said it at the
And then
time.
you're just like, I feel like our expectations are high for people. We expect them to treat us as we treat them.
And that's not always going to happen. That's rarely going to happen.
Yeah. It's just not like, it's not realistic, I want to say. Mm-hmm. It's not realistic because you've been raised one way, they've been raised another. And sometimes people's thought process, it's just not the same as yours. So you truly do have to teach people how to treat you, but also know when enough is enough. And I told you already what I accept and what I don't, and you didn't respect it, so we have to cut ties.
So you gotta do what you gotta do.
Seriously.
Like, it's one of those things. And then that goes like with everything that we said. We talked about outgrowing friendships. We talked about city girl culture. We talked about how we can improve all together just as women, or for whoever's watching this, tune into the podcast. So it really just all kind of ties it in together.
Yeah. And I love that. And from our affirmation, we also talked about trusting our instinct, which tied perfectly into our conversation.
It did.
Crazy.
Isn't that so? That's really.
That's crazy.
Wait,
it tied perfectly into the conversation. And just trust your instinct. Like you know what you want. You know what you are willing to accept, and embrace that. And don't be afraid to tell people that, like, in this season that I'm on, or that I'm in, or that I'm entering, you're not a passenger.
The seats are full.
Sorry.
Next plane, next ship.
Next ship. And I love you still, even though I can't bring you with me.
Like, it's literally all love.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You guys know the drill. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. You know where to find us at the Something Else podcast. Would you like to share your socials?
That was great. Follow me at Jada Monet Beauty on Instagram. Your favorite MUA.
That's just what it is.
That's just what it is.
So we will see you guys later.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Of course.